Hello everyone, today I will introduce the real terminals and wiring methods of our 400 volts module. Let's take a look at the terminals behind the module from right to left. First, there are two primary terminals of the N line, and then is the phase A, phase B, and phase C primary terminals. Okay, let's see the left. CT1N to CT3. Okay, you can see these are the terminals for the external sampling transformer. CT1N corresponds to phase A, CT2 corresponds to phase B, and CT3 corresponds to phase C. Then to the left is the terminal for our 24 volts power supply and a terminal for two 485 lines. Next is a demonstration of our ADDR communication dial. We need to adjust the communication dial code according to the number of modules on set. When using a single module, this communication dial code doesn't need to be dialed. And regarding the dialing method of multi-module dialing, we have a special video explanation. Okay, when multiple modules are connected for 485 communication, the control panel needs to be connected to the 485A, 485B of the first module, and then connect the second 485 port to the next module, and the remaining modules are connected in parallel in the same way. When using a single module, the communication line only needs to connect the first group of 485A, 485B. When multiple modules are used in parallel, the control panel is connected to the first group of 485A, 485B of the first module. Then the second group of 485AB is connected to the first group of 485 ports of the second module, and the second group of 485 ports of the second module is connected to the first group of the 485 ports of the third module. The following modules can be connected in this way. Next, let's look at the wiring of the transformer. First, we can see that there are 6 secondary terminals of the transformer: CT1N, CT1, CT2N, CT2, CT3N, CT3. CT1 and CT1N correspond to the current sampling line of phase A, then CT2 and CT2N correspond to the current sampling line of phase B, and CT3N corresponds to the current sampling line of phase C. Okay, next, let's look at the transformer. Generally, there is an arrow mark on the outside of the transformer, and P1 points to the grid and P2 points to the load. Then take a look at the secondary terminals of the transformer. The secondary terminals are divided into S1 and S2. S1 is connected to CT1 and S2 is connected to CT2. The main location of transformer sampling needs to be adjusted according to the layout of the on-set system. This is the effect of connecting all 3 sides of transformer. Okay, this is our control screen. Next, let's take a look at its real terminals. Okay, we can see the DC 24 volts positive and negative. This is the power supply of the large screen. The power supply is taken from the 24 volts negative and positive terminal of our module. Okay, this is our COM port. The COM port has 2 groups of 485 ports, 7A, 8B, 4A, 9B. RS232 is a set of communication ports. Usually, we use 7A, 8B to connect to the first module for communication. 4A, 9B is for the background communication wiring. Next, let's look at the wiring between the control panel and the module. First, let's see the 24 volts power supply, positive and negative. We use the white wire for positive and the gray wire for negative. The white wire is connected to the 24 volt terminal and the gray wire is connected to the GND terminal. Okay, now we have already connected the power line. Okay, next we connect the communication line. You can see that 7A, 8B of 485 1 on the back of the control panel corresponds to 485A, 485B on the module. Okay, now the wiring between the control panel and the module is completed. When the communication between the control panel and the module is normal, the module communication status on the control panel will be displayed as 0, and the current and voltage signals will also displayed on the screen. Next, let's look at the real terminals of the 690 volts and 800 volts module. First, we see the layout of secondary terminals. From the right, the 6 terminals from 1AN to CT1C correspond to the wiring of our sampling transformers. CT1A and 1AN correspond to the wiring of the A-phase sampling transformer. CT1B and 1BN correspond to the B-phase, and CT1C and 1CN correspond to the C-phase sampling transformer. Then look at the left side. 485 is the communication between the module and the control panel, and the communication line between modules. Then comes to 24 volts power port, which is mainly used to power the control panel. We can see that unlike the 400 volts module, the 690 volts and 800 volts module has K1 to K6 and COM terminals. Terminal K2 corresponds to the normal output state. Terminal K3 corresponds to the fault alarm state, and K6 corresponds to the reset button. And the remaining terminals K1, K4, and K5 have no fixed meaning and are used as backup. Okay, then we can see that this is the primary wiring terminals. First, the N line is the neutral line, and this is the P line. The L1, L2, L3 corresponds to ABC 3 phases wiring. Okay, thanks for your watching.